seconds while I eat this. I apologize that I'm late. Let me make sure. Sure that isn't double shooting. Wait real quick. Finished. Okay. That's this, so I can keep track of our YouTube frogs. There we go. Okay, and now actually open the game. Man, been up already. The sexy is annoying to launch, as per usual. There we go. pop that up there. Oh, what's this? Oh yeah, comedy activation date. I was like, is that a 5-star weapon? No. Okay, surprise for my activation date. That was today's mission. I guess I did guess it a little bit, but I wasn't expecting a surprise like that. And the gift it gave me was something I wanted for a long time. Someone must have looked through my history. Who was it, Cat, Wanchi, or you, Commandant? I'll never forget about. Hey, by the way, have you guys been listening to Comic 2? Okay, didn't make it myself. Squadrool, Warrior's Greatsword. Trying to give it to you, Doctor Contracts. Okay. Thank you, Kamui. Done. Okay, let's get started. I don't have stuff to pull for this, unfortunately. And I don't think I will be able to get it this time around, sadly. I'll have to wait for the rerun. Did want to start with... Actually wanted to... Yeah, let me turn the volume back up. Pause that. Here we go. It's in my codex. Putting... Replay? Yeah, story replay, I guess. If anyone knows where the thing is for the coding, just so I could pull that back up real quick, shortly. Okay. Have to be like either there or it's in recollections either. Oh, I tried. Yeah. So, let's just start with the bonus story then. Just voiced on JP? I think it's just only voiced on Cian. The absence of all the usual passerbys, the quiet hallway appears more frigid than ever, with cold lights that illuminate in place. Standing alone in the middle of the passageway for a good few moments, you finally remember what you came to do here. So, what I'm doing after graduating? Looking down the passage you've taken only too many times, you reach a certain office, be more familiar with before you know it. Right before you press the doorbell, however, you hear a weighty voice coming from inside. Come on in. Through green flashes there, electronic lock unlocks, allowing the alloy door to depart to either side. Good day, sir. Walking into the minimally decorated office, you see the man shutting off the sand table that he was using for planning. I wanted to talk to you about your plan after graduation, he says without a moment's hesitation. I'm not going to stick my nose in your business, but I need to know your reasoning behind your decision as your instructor. Why did you turn down Command Central's invitation and apply to be a frontline commandant at the task force? The shrewd eyes staring right at you now are the same eyes that have been watching every single student since you've entered the school. You sense neither encouragement nor discontent from his tone, but soundness and gravity. There's no doubt that those eyes will see right through any petty lies and excuses you come up with. Because... feel the world shaking violently as you open your mouth to speak. Command, could you... And then darkness ensues. Opening your eyes, you find yourself in the lounge with Liv standing right next to you, looking at you with a worried expression. She has one hand on your shoulder while holding the medical device with the other. The screen on the table shows a report in the making. The first half of it seems normal enough, but the second half is there with strings of garbled letters and symbols, a telltale sign that whoever was typing landed on the keyboard with their face. Rubbing your slightly numb face, you return your gaze to Liv. What are you doing sleeping here, Command? A little too tired, I guess? Don't worry, I was just taking a nap. In other words, put Liv's mind at ease, you put up your hands in defeat, seeing Liv all concerned about you. Thought I'd have a few checkups done too. Liv, can I ask you to do me a favor? Sweep your head backward and a little and remember to relax. Completing the checkup in a breeze, Liv lets out a sigh of relief. How long do I have, Doc? Depends on how you manage your health, Commandant. Going to sleep now, for example, will be mighty helpful. I can certainly agree with that, as my nose likes to say at the moment. Well, as my nose is telling me at the moment. Liv says with a smile. But I've still got work to do. Well, let me help you with paperwork then. You can go to sleep earlier if we finish everything ahead of time. Okay, now your mind rehab session for the day is completed. You weren't late for today's rehab session, right? Of course not. With it, both you and Liv break into where I smile. For the time being, neither of you is in any condition to fight, while with the degeneration of your muscles and the occasional migraines occurring in Liv's mind. With the help of the an exoskeleton, excuse me, you've taken part in a few non-combat assignments, except such assignments don't come by every day. And a full exoskeleton is but a short-term solution in the broader picture of making a full recovery. The war has turned white hot, and you know for a fact that Lucia and Lee are far too competent and that they can't stay in Babylonia with Liv and you. He wants to be at the front line with the team, but decided to stay behind to perform desk work while rehabilitating instead, after being convinced by them. I wonder what happened to Lee and Lucia, though. Cause no hiccups to the war, Lee and Lucia always make it a point to only contact you when they're back at their base for maintenance. According to them, they've seen small-scale victories in their combat zone. We just have to trust them. And we need to try our best in what we can do. Having worked off the negative vibes, you find yourself concentrating once again on the report. Then, as you go ahead and delete the string of garbled letters and symbols with the delete key, you reach out for the coffee cup sitting right next to you. Yet, much to your surprise, you touch a warm, soft hand instead of a coffee cup. Oh my. How about something else for a change, Commandant? Liv passes you a different cup, giving off white steam. The cup has amber-colored tea sitting in it instead. What's this? This is the decaffeinated herbal tea. You should refrain from consuming any more caffeine for the day, given that you've already consumed 180 milligrams. Liv explains in a serious tone. Probably best to listen to the expert here since she's the one taking care of the team's health. Taking a sip of tea, you can taste the warm fragrance of the liquid making its way down your throat before it reaches your chest and blossoms, instantly easing you of most of the pent-up fatigue from work. Liv, on the other hand, has taken a seat across from you and begun sorting through the remaining reports. The faintly glowing screen, the sound of keystrokes, the fragrance of the tea, and the Liv working away at the reports. The room is quiet and peaceful, seemingly having nothing save for the ease left in it. It's been so long since you last felt the same ease of mind. Let me go over some parts of this report, Commandant. Sure. Let's set up the next auto. And that's the last one. Go over the reports before sending your ID number on it. The whole process of sorting through the documents was supposed to take you through the entire afternoon, yet here you are, having reached the end of it in under 2 hours with the two of you working on it. Oh, that was fast. Pouring the tea into the now empty cup, Liv appears out of it as she keeps her eyes fixated on the global warfare map. What are you looking for? Trying to pinpoint Luciani? I mean, because I missed their call from last night. It's not your fault, though. An episode of migraine hit Liv out of the blue right before Luciani dialed in last night, plunging her mind, which hasn't even made a full recovery yet, into an extremely unstable state. After stabilizing her condition with the cable you carried and the deep mind connection you managed to establish before things went out of hand, put on your exoskeleton and ran up to Starled Life with Liv in your arms. Liv was still under treatment when Luciani dialed in. Based on where they were calling from last night, a staff list, resource provision, and engagement status, all the information about a certain base pops up when you put your finger on it. They should be here. Each of these names are on the staff list, with 2 short lines preceding their names, respectively. Frame damage 15.32%, infection 0%. Based on the battle data reports, the two seem to have found a branch of the Red Tide on their own without a warning of a support-type construct. They put indicating beacons in place during their battle with Hydro creatures. While the beacons had only a minimal effect in guiding the garrison at the base, they managed to sever the branch with their accurate attacks all the same. If only I were there too. Liv keeps her eyes fixated on the very first line of the report. It briefly mentions the resources the base needs more of, with a special note stating that all squads are in need of help from support-type constructs. She'll be able to get back in no time. And that's if they manage to improve remote deep mind connection, right? Deep mind connection helps stabilize migraine from coming from Liv's mind, and Asimov is working with the rest of the team to figure out a way to establish this connection remotely without a cable. Asimov said we'll be giving it a try soon, right? Gray Aaron will be back on the road as soon as we have that technical barrier taken care of. Nodding at her, however, Liv looks troubled with what seems to be an abrupt thought. By the way, Commandant, I understand that Professor Hippocrates asked you to exercise your body, but I'd still suggest that you steer clear of ground missions before you make a full recovery. It's force majeure. Liv's eyebrows frown slightly at your reply. But luckily for you, Liv raises another question, letting go of the subject. What are we going to do now, though? About that. Liv means well, but it's no doubt much too early for you to hit the hay now. You finished your rehab session for the day in the morning, but you have to make an appointment the day in advance if you want to get your next session. You have no idea what to do. I don't know, Liv. Got any plans? Wait, are you asking me? I don't know either, but let's see. With the ringing of a call filling up the room, you and Liv stop in your tracks. When you take the call, a hologram of Asimov appears. Where are you now? In the lounge. Stop whatever you're doing. Now, if it's not super urgent, I need you to come down to the Science Council. Okay, speaks in a serious tone. Can't get the details on the line, but I'll fill you in on the situation when you're here. Remember to bring Liv with you. Liv is surprised by the mention of her name. Liv is there with you, right? Bring her with you. Alright. And with that, Asimov hangs up. Why does he need us, though? I have no clue, but I've added something important. You rise from your seat, taking a moment to really appreciate the fact that you're now in much less pain than thanks to all your rehab sessions and nutritional management. Can I give you a hand, Commandant? Sure. With the support of Liv and a crutch, you make it to Asimov's lab. Hippocrates! You really need to stop pampering your Commandant, Liv. At the lab, you see Hippocrates. Professor? None other than Hippocrates, the very person responsible for treating you and Liv. Standing right behind her is Asimov, who keeps his eyes fixated on the screen in front of him as strings of complicated-looking readings and charts flash past. Why are they working together when they're from different departments? Wait. And judging from that look on your face, I gather you figured out why Asimov had asked you and Liv to come down here. Does that have to do with the Imperia frame? Right, we've received some data from the probe we'd left in Imperia. Asimov is working on visualizing the data, except stopping in her tracks. Hippocrates looks back and forth between you and Liv, except they don't seem normal. Done. Looking up, Asimov turns the screen this way, which now shows a bird's eye view of the dense forest. What's this? I'll start from the very beginning. You do still remember what you had to go through to get Liv's mind shards back, right? Of course. After bringing Liv to safety, you filled them in on what you'd gone through, missing not so much as most of the details, with the hope that they'd turn out helpful with repairing Liv's mind. And you found the 7th mind shard, and that's something we'd never found previously. After transferring our consciousness back to Eclipse, we'd scan the Imperia frame with signals of varying frequencies on a regular basis to see if we'd miss anything. Wait, could it be? Spot on. Signal is initially weak, but is part of Liv. Took a look at the data sent back by the probe. The band seemed very special, and I'd describe them as a small, strong, appropriate layman-friendly word. Take it over from here. Here's an example. Do you remember how many people you passed by in the rehab center yesterday? I'll be damned if I did. Correct. See, no one ever remembers how much bread they ate. People don't remember all the information that goes through the brain. We might experience certain things or think about them, but they don't become lasting memories in our brains. That's exactly what the professor said, and this particular set of data is showing us the same thing. There are parts of Liv's mind ignored, forgotten, or, if you will, rejected. Based on our analysis of the signal waveform sent back to us, we were able to more or less pinpoint the location of this mind shard that's projected in this forest. Asimov enlarges the window to the extent that it almost takes up the entire screen. Right in the center of the screen now stands the silhouette of a spire, with scarlet plants running along its length. Punishing virus. Only lightly infected, but it doesn't mean we can just ignore it. Which is why we need you to clean up the contamination, in addition to looking into it. One thing though. Worried, he turned to look at Liv. What you know shouldn't be risking yourself over a mission like this, with her mind still making recovery. Don't worry, Commandant, I'm okay. I know what's bothering you. Your safety will always be our top priority. We have an ample amount of time to get ourselves ready, unlike last time. Asimov came up with the safety trigger program. And what it does is that if when things get out of hand, the trigger will activate and force you to wake up. And feel free to pull the trigger yourself if the situation becomes such that it doesn't allow you to continue probing. It won't hurt your mind, but we'll have no choice but to give up on this particular shard. Why does it have to be Liv, though? I decided to ask you and Liv help for another reason. See, this shard and the subconscious mind are similar in that they're both what make up the bottom layer of the mind. And the feedback of both of your activities there will go a long way toward improving the mind connection. You just don't get samples of this kind of mind every day. Finishing her sentence, Hippocrates' face turns uneasy. Although, I wouldn't want to go through all of that again to get another sample. I have another question. Sensing the negative vibes in the air, Liv speaks out. Yes? How am I supposed to get inside my own mind shard with Commandant? Asimov wrote you a program that will help you do just that. We'll take you through some fine-tuning first, though. Your Commandant, on the other hand, will get in there when you're done fine-tuning. Alright. We'll see you in a bit, Commandant. After waving goodbye to you, Liv makes her way to the mine diving chamber, following Asimov. Then, right when you try to stand up with your crutch, you are forced to sit back down. Professor? Liv is bound to be affected one way or another when she's there in her mind shard. What do you mean? It might be her consciousness or her personality, but what it is will depend on which part of Liv this particular mind shard is. I mean, to a certain degree, this whole thing is just like really getting to know yourself. And I was hoping you could take good care of her when you're both in there. Socrates pats you on the shoulder. Okay, and here we are. No longer feeling weightless, you can feel the rough bark of a tree against your back as you slowly open your eyes and take in the fragrance of the mud and budding grass. Filtering through the leaves above, the sunlight feels like a gentle touch to the skin, and the crisp calls of birds coming from between the trees travel through the valleys in the distance. Feeling a fluffy lump on the back of your hand, you look down and see that there is a chumpy chipmunk sitting on it. Then, as though an invisible string was severed, the force is quiet no more. Turning into a furball, the chipmunk rolls out the back of your hand before it disappears into the depths of the forest. You stand up and spend some time collecting your thoughts. Liv. Your surroundings look exactly the same as what Asimov has shown you, except you don't see Liv around, who supposedly came in with you. First attempt at it. It seems like we'll have to find Liv first before starting a mission. Then we'd be drawn to what we're most familiar with when looking at Master Picture. There's something that exists between the command and their construct that connects them. You shut your eyes trying to get a feel for that certain something, except all you're picking up are choppy echoes that seem to be taking nowhere. This is not unlike looking for a particular fish in the absolute dark expanse of an ocean. You know Liv is right around you, yet you're totally clueless as where to begin looking. And right then, a shaft of light descends. Open your eyes. See a butterfly with two pairs of wings and thin black stripes along its body, parting the green fluorescence. You feel like you know the butterfly. The butterfly makes two circles around you, leaving traces of light to snow on you that seem to be telling you to follow it. Follow the butterfly. Drawn by a sense of familiarity, you follow the butterfly as it goes. Following the butterfly, you travel through the wide expanse that's the forest. Losing count of times, you come across the same views. Butterflies for instance is now your only source of guidance down an increasingly secluded path. Right then, you hear noises coming from up ahead. Someone is coming this way, walking on the grass. Liv? Commandant? The voice is coming from behind the trees. Liv picks up her pace across the grass. Then there she is now, standing in front of you. Except she looks a little different from what you remember of her. A grandiose black dress envelops her exquisite body, giving her a solemn aura. The jade green wings behind her, however, add a dreamlike quality to her, and she seems as though she might just vanish in the wind if you so as much as look away from her for a split second. Commandant, please stop looking at me like that. Aw, cute little sprite. Liv lowers her head, apparently feeling self-conscious because of your unwavering gaze. Right, of course. Looking around yourself, you can't help but feel flabbergasted by the view, having forgotten about the butterfly that had taken you here. What's going on here? The Liv you're seeing is wearing a completely different outfit than what she was before coming in. I don't know. I found myself like this when I woke up. Liv reaches for the wings behind her as she starts checking herself out. Maybe this is something in your mind shard doing to you. Asimov said the same thing. You have never seen Liv like this before. She's usually just dressed in white and pink. How do you feel though, Commandant? I think you look great. Commandant. With a sheepish look on her face, Liv seems happy with the compliment all the same, while looking slightly caught off guard. I meant to ask if you noticed anything out of the ordinary about yourself too, but still, thank you. Never felt better. It's fortunate that your injury didn't get transferred over to this world. Are you feeling anything else, Liv? Well, I'm not quite sure if this something in my mind shard has done to me, but... Seeing you all baffled, Liv claps her hands 3 times, and with it you hear noises coming from the trees. When you turn your head over, you see countless chipmunks poking their heads out everywhere. Among the bushes above the tree tops, behind the rocks, they're everywhere. With their tiny black eyes traveling back and forth between you and Liv, they seem to have a hard time comprehending the sight of the two human beings in front of them. It's okay, this isn't a bad person. And with it, the chipmunks all come leaping out. Before you're even able to react, you find yourself in Liv, drowning in a sea of warm fur balls rubbing your faces and palms. How'd you find out you can do this, though? You clasp your hands 3 times when Liv isn't looking away and nothing happens. It's never been difficult for Liv to draw animals toward her because she's always so gentle, but you know that what you just witnessed is on a different level than just being gentle. I was just trying to brush all the dirt off my hands and these babies showed up. Can you get other animals to come to you? I did try to change the tempo and number of claps, and I even tried mimicking this character from a TV show for kids. Liv blush. Liv stops in her tracks. And, well, I tried all sorts of things, but the only thing I managed to get to come to me so far is a chipmunk. Her hand still caressing the little fur ball, Liv looks away. You carry on speaking as you put on the ground a struggling chipmunk that just fell off your shoulder and was dangling off your chest pocket. Now let's try bringing each other to speed. This real quick. So, when I woke up, when Liv finishes bringing you up to speed, you see that your diving point was actually 1 good kilometer away from Liv's, though you came here in almost the same time. Liv has a pair of wings similar to that on the Imperial frame, except it doesn't allow her to fly, presumably because the mind has made it so. It seems like you won't be flying to the center of the forest. And it's your turn to film Liv on what you've been through. Butterfly, you said? I didn't see any when I woke up though. Should we do a quick round of scan? No, that's fine. You want to learn more about the butterfly, but it's much too fleeting in occurrence for you to spend time on what you're supposed to be looking into the center of the forest, sticking to our plan. I'm analyzing the landscape and the paths. Oh? I can't come up with a path that can take us straight to the center of the forest with all the obstacles in the way. That's fine, we'll see what the data feedback has to say as we go. Let's go. Chipmunks sitting on you and Liv start jumping off, apparently having sense that you're about to leave. And as they leave, they stuff your pockets full of chestnuts, berries, seeds, and petals. Then, waving its tiny claw at Liv, the last chipmunk disappears into a crack under the rocks. Liv bids it farewell with a smile. Doesn't seem like this path is going to work. I am trying to come up with a different route. You thought a place like this would be a piece of cake for Liv, except this forest has proven to be a lot more complicated than previously imagined. But on second thought, you realize the complexity of this forest should really be attributed to Liv's seemingly endless imagination. This is what happened shortly after you and Liv set out. The path through the forest is exactly like Trucker Flanny, so all your shoes with extra thick soles are keeping your feet well protected from all the sharp stones on the ground. You still need to be absolutely careful so as to not slip off the moss. The trees, the grass, the flowers, and everything around you is of the same color. The forest has not a single trace of humans, and the cries of the insects seem to come from afar. Completely lost, you stay closely behind Liv. And suddenly, Liv stops in her tracks. Hey, what's the matter? Surprised Liv's face. This bridge here is a little different from how I imagined it would be. Caught by surprise, Liv seems at a loss for words. Oh, there's only so much radar imaging can do, I suppose. Climbing over the rock in your way, you look up from the ground and see the view up ahead. See, this isn't something you need to. The last few words of the sentence get stuck halfway at your throat when you see what's up ahead of you. In front of you now is a valley of about 20 meters wide with a bridge above it connecting either side of the valley. Giving off a crystalline shine, the bridge consists of many discs. The same discs can be seen moving in irregular patterns around the bridge, and enveloped in their somewhat dark surroundings, they're reminiscent of glowing lamps. With a close excuse me. A closer look, you see that the discs all have long tentacles or semi-transparent belts attached to the underside. As though sensing that they're being looked at, some tentacles rise and wave this way. A floating jellyfish is greeting you. I never thought we'd run into anything like this. They don't seem hostile though. Sorry about that. My nose is just really stuffed at the moment. You never saw this coming yourself because you didn't run into anything out of the ordinary the entire way. Seems like the speed at which time passes isn't the only thing different between the mind and the real world. This world seems to be full of strange things that can happen to you at every turn, and the fact that Liv was able to get all the chipmunks staring around you is but an example of that. And with that taken into account, this jellyfish bridge really shouldn't be that big of a surprise. Aren't they going to dehydrate? As though trying to answer your question, a few enormous jets of water come gushing out from the depths of the valley, washing away some of the jellyfish that make up the bridge. Moments later, however, their places are taken over by the jellyfish. Having been graced by the water, the bridge now gives off a lucid shine. You know what's going on, Liv. I think that just might have something to do with the story of the Magpie Bridge that I heard as a kid. Liv seems unsure of herself as she speaks. In Kolung's folklore, the Magpie Bridge is a bridge formed by magpies squishing their bodies together on a certain day. And this jellyfish bridge does bear a resemblance to the Magpie Bridge. Although one of them flies up there in the sky while the other swims in the water. Which means this mine chart is... Yes, this particular mine chart has to do with all the fairy tales I heard. Certain things we think about them, but they don't become lasting memories in our brains. Exactly like what the professor said, and this particular set of data is showing us the same thing. There are parts of Liv's mind ignored, forgotten, or if you will, rejected. What Hippocrates and Asimov said about this chart matches what you're seeing. People don't usually remember the fairy tales they hear as kids. Do you find me childish now, Commandant? There's nothing wrong with being childish, though. These are memories of the fairy tales, after all. And there's nothing wrong with that. You find it romantic that Liv has found a way to embrace her childhood once again as a grown-up. Liv lets out a sigh of relief at what you said. Should I try to come up with a different route, Commandant? Let's run across it. Liv nods. With Liv's approval, you step on the semi-transparent bell of the jellyfish, all while feeling the slipperiness and bounciness of it. All good. Only need to stay low and go at this pace. Commandant, come back now. With it, Liv grabs hold of your hand, except it's too late now. The bell crumbles down before it contracts inward and then hunches up. Before you know what just happened, you find yourself and Liv coming face to face with a glowing jellyfish in the air, although you can't really for the life of you tell where its eyes are. Before you begin falling through the air, however, the jellyfish whips out one of its belts and wraps it around you and Liv. Except the combined weight of you and Liv seems too heavy for it, sending the jellyfish down a straight fall, like a parachute with a hole. Okay, give me a second, setting up another full auto and grumble. Fortunately, another jellyfish comes to your rescue in its time with its belts. Working together, the two jellyfish float back up once again. At the same time, the grip of the belt goes tighter on you, still around you and Liv. What is this thing? You feel something soft as silk against your back. My wings are getting squashed, Commandant. From behind you, Liv now speaks in a show so choppy now that you can barely make out her words. Every last one which seems to be coming out as the last strand of her being. Tied up tightly back to back, however you can see Liv's face. Somehow you seem to be hearing hisses of steam. Sorry? That's fine. I think this is exactly how we're supposed to cross the valley. And Liv is right because you can see the shining jellyfish and its friends are transporting the two of you across to the other side. In the corner of your eye, you can see that jellyfish you stepped on at the very beginning is cleaning its bell of the dirt on it using dews coming off a chunk of moss as it's holding with its tentacles. When it's done grooming itself, the jellyfish does look slightly shinier than it did just moments ago. Is it trying to polish itself? I don't think they're trying to build a bridge cuddling up together, I think they're just trying to rest. With a closer look, you see that Liv is right. The jellyfish that you initially thought was acting as a bridge here doesn't shine as brightly, with its bell going up and down ever so faintly. Appears just to be under a light sleep. So what the jellyfish did to me just now when I stepped on it? Well, that was probably just the jellyfish feeling grumpy, waking up. Liv sounds at ease, sensing no harm coming from the jellyfish. But right then, your surroundings start growing dark. Moments later, you feel something hard against the bottom of your feet, and the grip around you lets go. Turning around, you see that the jellyfish is still there and is now trying to flatten Liv's crumpled wings. Thank you all, but don't worry about it. The jellyfish, however, stays where it is. Tentacles, obviously, not the most ideal of tools with which to flatten the creases. Let me fix them for you. Wait, what? But why are you? I'm sure they won't let us go if I don't. Looking up, you see that the jellyfish are still busy trying to fix Liv's wings, and I'm partially responsible for it anyways. Oh, then if you insist. Bit by bit, we found creases in the chiffon-like wings and the gentle light coming off the jellyfish. Then, looking up at the jellyfish and then Liv's wings now being suddenly flattened back to their previous state, you open your mouth to speak. This is just amazing. This doesn't happen in real life, though. But with everything that seemed to stand in our way, people have made amazing breakthroughs and made the impossible possible. Gravity tried to hold humans down, but we found a way to reach the sky and even further beyond. Distance stood between us, but technology made it possible for us to connect with each other whenever we wanted. Lightning was once a power-inspiring aura, but we found a way to make it work for us. Do you think there's a way for us to make what we're seeing here possible then? The jellyfish form a colorful, fantastic view around you beyond description. With difficulty, yes. But even if we're still so far from that day, we can't even picture it happening within our lifetime. We can still entrust another dreamer with our dream. You flattened the last crease on Liv's wings, and although still unable to take Liv through the skies and now bearing shallow scars, Liv's wings can open up again nonetheless. There is not a wonderful thing that is not worth our time and effort. This is what the forest seems to be mumbling as a breeze gently ruffles the leaves. Okay, part 2. Farewell Wonderland. Holding on to a dandelion, you and Liv made it across a bubbling swamp. Making it through the grass maze, it was almost too easy with Liv's scanning radar. Crossing the rushing river was a breeze too, with the river crab carrying you on its back. You and Liv came the entire way without breaking so much as a sweat. These are true eye-openers, Liv. Views around you seem to grow wilder still, the further into the forest you and Liv travel. Please, just stop. With the views unfurling around both of you, Liv appears to be more embarrassed than nostalgic. She covers her now blushing face, yet her equally red ears give her away. When you and Liv reach an empty ground in the forest, you see a line of sheep lying on the side. So furry that their bodies take the shape of a ball, they are, to your surprise, amazingly agile. Right in that middle of the sheep is a saddle, and right when one of the sheep hops over the saddle, meh, then comes the next sheep. Then comes the third. Eventually, all the bass turned into a light rhythmic lullaby. I can see you counted sheep in bed as a kid, huh? Yes, I did. Liv slowly regains her composure as she looks nostalgically at the sheep. I'd count them one at a time when I couldn't fall asleep. Liv says with a smile as she recalls her childhood. And sometimes I'd end up having even more trouble sleeping because I was so focused on counting them. Have you ever experienced it? Yes. You actually did have to count to help yourself fall asleep as a kid, what with all that pent-up energy in you. But as an adult, I spend more time trying not to fall asleep than coming up with ways to help yourself sleep. Why sheep, though? Everyone counts goats, no? Because sheep are cute. Aw, Liv blush. I actually am a big fan of sheep, and we even had sheep back home when I was a kid. You turn your gaze at the line of sheep, which stretches as far out as it possibly can along the horizon, all the way from west to east. Real big fan with a burning passion too. Decide to keep these words to yourself so Liv wouldn't overheat from blushing. You tried to herd the sheep somewhere else, yet judging from the fact that none of them even bats an eye at you, you know your efforts are proving futile. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you move forward until you figure out a different path. Just look at this. Looking up, you see that the skies have gone from their previous white and blue to their current tangerine. A telltale sign that night is fast approaching. Should we find a place to rest for the day, Commandant? While everything happening so far has taken place within the projection of a mind chart, you feel every bit as worn out as you've been going through the day in the real world. There is in fact another reason for your making this decision. Well, it's not just because the sun is setting though, see? I'm sure you heard a lot of spooky stories as a kid, right? Listen to chases and to praise. It's the most feared presence in the Dark Forest, ready to prey on all the souls alive. It's Sharksphere! Listen as the jewels burn through the ground, having fallen from a mouth so big that it takes up over half the monster's body. Look, it will never let you go once it has its murderous eyes upon you, so run as far as you can, until you've reached a place that can shelter you. I'm going to eat every last kid that refuses to sleep, oh whoa. Not that that'd be something scarier. To your surprise, however, the predator isn't some terrifying monster, rather an adorable plushie. I'm not scary at all, but I still eat kids who refuse to go to sleep, oh whoa. Seeing the shark plushie leaving, you and Liv poke your heads out of the bushes. Was that something that scared you when you were a kid? Wait, that happened to you too? Well, sort of. Monsters that claim to eat you up if you don't go to sleep on time, huh? Seems like it's an all-time classic. The only difference is that a scary monster is what you usually get in these stories rather than an adorable plushie. You approached it because it seemed harmless enough, except it put on a hostile front the moment it sensed your presence. Wasn't scary at all, though. Are we talking about the plushie just now? Nodding your head, you start telling them about all the tricks grown-ups use so you fool you around with from when you were a kid. Hey, let's see. You're an octopus with a menacing face. Did you ever feel scared? I ain't got nothing on me. Right then you hear a voice coming from behind you, a voice that you know. There you are, kids who refuse to go to sleep. And now I gotta run. There's no point in turning around because you know exactly where it is from the footsteps and shots. I think we should split a command. Running away from the shark plushie, Liv once again makes the same suggestion. No. And once again you turn down her suggestion. But I'm only dragging you down the way I am now. And you know exactly what Liv is talking about. Her wings with the fluorescence make it almost easy for plushie to spot them in the dark. We can't just keep running though. Right then something lands on your shoulder with a squeak. It's a chipmunk. About to flick it off, you stop just in time with the fluorescence coming off Liv's wings. You take a good look at the chipmunk. And that's when you see yet another chipmunk on Liv's shoulder. Hurry up and hug yourselves. Where are you trying to take us? One of the chipmunks points its claw in a certain direction. Nodding at each other, you and Liv run in the direction the chipmunk just pointed. Gone, they're gone. Oh, whoa. Passing you by, the cry of the shark plushie disappears into the distance. This place seems safe. When you open the door of the shelter, Liv pokes her head out from the other side, and you're now hiding inside. Hiding with Liv inside two gigantic pea pods. How'd the chipmunks find us, though? I think they probably found us with the fluorescence coming off your wings. Point at the chipmunks, which are now chasing fireflies. Fluorescence might be what's catching all the monsters' eyes in the dark, but also stands out as an inviting beacon to friends. What would you have done though, if they had never shown up? Let's see. I've got plan B. I think like somewhat awkwardly. This place seems perfect for rest. Yep, you should get some rest too, Liv. I think I'll just, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're supposed to rest on time as part of the rehabilitation process of your mind, right? Cut Liv off before she finishes speaking. I can't just rest whenever I want to inside my mind. Opening the pea pod that Liv is in faces that of yours. Lying down, she meets you in the eye. But I'll still try to get some sleep, Commandant. Moonlight is cold and anything but bright, but it shows you perfectly in Liv's eyes. Yep. Refuse to look away. You don't want to look away because you know the moment you do, you lose this game. Besides, you and Liv are already used to being around each other, having been through all that you've been through together over the years. Having a hard time falling asleep, Commandant. Never had an easy time falling asleep away from home. But you fell asleep in the corridor on that mission we went on together. Oh, I remember that mission. You actually don't usually get to sleep in your own bed because of all sorts of accidents. Ruins that can only block off the wind, tight corridors, or abandoned cars. These are the kind of places you usually find yourself sleeping at. The pea pods you're in prove to be a lot more comfortable, except it's got nothing to do with this place. Are you still trying to get used to this place? I don't recall a thing, but I find this place familiar and I'm very used to it. That's fine, I'm sure you'll remember everything. Let me find the mind shard. Yep, so what's your childhood like, Commandant? Following the course of the subject, Lives asks you curiously. Tell her everything. You don't remember ever telling anyone about your childhood, since you rarely ever even talked about your life before coming to Greyhaven. You decided to take advantage of this chance to have a good chat with Liv. Liv listens quietly for the most part, but she would still raise questions every now and then, which she's surprised actually helps you recall a big chunk of your long-forgotten memory. And with it, the conversation went from a monologue to a dialogue with no end in sight. Okay. That back up. Okay. Your surroundings fall quieter still as time passes. The cries of the insects, loud and clear until just moments ago, have all died down too. The two of you grow sleepy as you carry on chit-chatting in the dark. Time goes by millisecond as you laugh and chat away, and you know you both are feeling the right amount of sleepiness to sleep now. I'd love to learn even more about you, Commandant, but I guess it's time for bed. Liv's voice grows distant as you grow drowsy. Tell me about yourself next time, Liv. The words coming out of your mouth are gobbled up. Me? I barely remember anything, though, and the things I do still remember probably aren't too interesting at all. Well, everything we've seen so far in here. You need no further proof, because the place you're about to fall asleep at is none other than Liv's childhood itself. Seems to say otherwise. I'll make sure to find it for you. Tell me more about yourself when I've found it. You don't remember if you've actually said these words before falling asleep. What happened during the day seems to be spicing up your dream. Following a group of migrating sheep, you arrive at a spire, that for which you set out on the journey in the first place. Looking up and seeing the tip of the spire, thoroughly drenched in scarlet, you feel drawn to it. You take a step forward and over the mud on the grass. Then with a sharp pain across your forehead, the world as you see it turns blood red. Oh. Captain Liv. The wool on the sheep's tears tears away to reveal the cryptid underneath, while the spire collapses into a crimson figure. This is your memory from the last rescue mission. You tried to make your way up through the sea of corrupted, but the crimson figure slashed right through you. Before chaos tore you apart, the only thing you saw in the world that blurred away was a little white bird. Reliving the memory, you notice something different. You feel like you're missing something, something that lies just right beyond where your eyes and the light can reach. When did the blood-soaked lawn sword leave your body? Where did the crimson figure go? Is there something behind you, behind the white bird? Turning around, there's nothing but pitch darkness. All the years of waking up naturally with your biological clock have made an alarm clock a dispensable item to you. As you sit up and rub your temple, the blanket takes the course of gravity and falls off. Wait, a blanket? When you open your eyes, it hits you that instead of a pea pod, you're now in a cozy room. Liv? The room is minimally decorated and Liv is nowhere to be seen. Taking not even a single moment to survey the room or think about how you got here in the first place, you open the door and start looking for Liv. Hey, good morning. Did you have some quality rest? Oh, who's this? A woman you've never seen before stands in the hallway with a wooden tray. Initially caught by surprise, she quickly regains her gentle smile. Your hunch is that she doesn't intend to hurt you, and hunches are often the most reliable in mind. Hi, what's your name? Call me Cinderella. I was with a friend just now. Does she happen to be here? The young lady, right? She's in the room right across. Cinderella knocks on the door but receives no response. Liv, are you in there? Cinderella knocks once again, harder, but still gets no response. Is she the type that struggles to wake up? Shakes her head. Seeing you shake your head, Cinderella hesitates for a moment before she opens the door. The setup of the room is basically the same as the one you woke up in. Liv lies in the bed with her back facing you, apparently still asleep. Can't see her face, but you can tell just from the groan that she's in pain. Liv. You're no stranger to what's happening. This is a symptom of Liv's migraine. Out of habit, you want to take out your connecting cable for deep mind connection, but it hits you that you're already in Liv's mind. Setting her tray on the table, Cinderella dashes up to Liv's bed. She holds Liv's face with her hands as she presses her head against Liv's, all the while mumbling something unintelligible. And with it, as the faint fluorescence envelops them, Liv's face softens. A few moments later, Cinderella puts Liv's head back on the pillow ever so gently. She's fine now. Cinderella stands up, looking slightly out of it. Are you okay? I'm fine, I was just a bit out of it. Cinderella quickly regains her composure, then you see Liv slowly sit up. Commandant, who's this? Feel free to call me Cinderella, Liv. Cinderella is now looking at you and Liv with her gentle eyes that now seem even more loving than they did before. You quickly Liv in on what happened just now. Thank you so much, Miss Cinderella. Don't mention it, and feel free to just call me Cinderella. Oh, of course. With a gentle, accepting smile, Cinderella turns this way. You're both safe now, and I bet you must be hungry. How about a bowl of bean soup? Pointing at the tray sitting on the table, she seems to be waiting for a favorable response. The steaming, creamy green soup has diced onions, carrots, and round peas floating on its surface. The fresh veggies and the aroma of butter make for a temptation impossible to resist. Of course. Given that she just helped stabilize Liv, you don't think there's anything to worry about the food she's prepared. And from your eyes, you're sensing a very special quality that you'd probably describe as motherliness. Which is why you think it's a good idea here to turn her down. Each with a wooden spoon. Good idea probably to not turn her down, I guess. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Yeah, which is why you don't think it's a good idea to turn her down. Okay, you can scoop up the soup and move it to your mouth with the aroma filling the air. You can now smell the diced onions and black pepper in it. Shoving the spoon into your mouth, you're instantly hit with a creamy explosion that takes place across your taste buds. The freshness of the veggies is the first hit, followed by the rich and fresh taste of butter that helps the onions stand out. The hot soup makes its way down your food pipe with the black pepper in it, warming up your body through and through. Much to your surprise, the soup comes with a minty taste, too. Pretty good, right? Popping her face with both her hands, Cinderella looks awash in happiness. When you finish the soup, it finally hits you that you're starving from consuming nothing at all for the entire day. Having been warmed up, your tummy is now protesting for more. I think I can actually use more of... Oof. Satisfied sigh coming from beside you cuts short. You look away, it seems as though Liv has the same thought as you. Okay. Could you each give us one more serving? Of course, you can have as many as you please. Cinderella refills both of your bowls with the bean soup. Glad to see you both enjoy the soup. I picked these veggies early in the morning and that's when I found both of you. Oh yeah, and the soup has the pea pods you stayed in yesterday. How do you like them? We stopped it in your tracks. Seeing both of you live free, Cinderella covers her mouth trembling from laughing as her laughter comes out through her fingers. My bad, you're both so cute, I just couldn't help but wanted to see you shocked. Don't worry about the pea pods though, they're safe and sound in my backyard. Do you see peas in the soup? They seem to be about the right size, right? Rubbing the tears away from the corner of her eyes, Cinderella gains her composure. Apologies, it's been such a long time since I last met anyone. Welcome to Wonderland. That's quite the combination of stories. When you finish the fourth bowl, Cinderella seems overly excited. Once again, stirs the apparently bottomless soup with her ladle. Want some more? I think I'm fine. Are you sure? Yeah, positive. Feeling fuller than ever, you say to her in your most appreciative tone, and you live? No, thank you so much, but I'm okay too. Having gone through just as many bowls as you, Liv waves her hand in a panic as she expresses her appreciation apologetically. Nodding with a somewhat disappointing face, she hits the pot with her ladle, and with it, the soup inside goes poof. Going to start cleaning up then. Please, let us. This makes a good chance for us to speak privately with Liv. But you're my guest, I can't just... Liv has already put the tableware away and is picking the tray up. No, we insist. This is the least we could do. Relenting with a smile on her face, Cinderella says adoringly. Alright then, let me get you guys some tea and snacks. There's a river in the back for you to do some dishes. Watch out though. As you watch carefully your own steps to avoid another nasty fall. So what do you think, Liv? I have the same take as you comment. She's unique, but I don't think she's the mind shard we're looking for. Cool auto. But she seems to know a lot of things. And she's such a friendly soul. I think we just might be able to learn about this place from her. Let's talk to her in a bit. Oh, by the way, are you over here, Commandant? Wait, I thought you were here. Guess I'll just have to wait for the bubbles to go away then. I know, and I've lost count how many times we missed each other. Looking at all the colorful bubbles, you feel completely lost in the kaleidoscopic views around you. Out in the back, you see a shallow stream that seems knee-high at best. The stream seems harmless enough. But you're never going to figure out how to swim. But, boy, was it a real sight. Instead of splashes of water, the river spits up bubbles in an amount that shrouds you completely. You can't see anything, and feeling the ground slippery, you try to take a step forward. Oh crap. You fall into the water with a thud, sending bubbles flying up in each and every way. Liv wastes no time jumping in and starts looking for you, but neither of you can tell where the other person is with all the bubbles around. There are several times when you sense Liv right around you, only to realize that it's all wishful thinking when you reach your hand out. Commandant, are you still there? Yes, let's just stay where we are for now. You say as you look at all the bubbles that are now slowly disappearing. Then you hear a sigh. Let's just keep talking. It makes me a little nervous if you don't. Sure, what do you want to talk about? I'm curious about the way you decided to go to FS. About why you decided to go to the FOS. It's a common choice among people from Babylonia, but it's never the only choice. I did it to pursue a dream. A dream, huh? That's exactly what I had in mind when I asked to be relocated. What did you just say? You can barely hear Liv over all the bubbles. Oh, it's nothing. But I'm never going to give up, because I have a dream and I'm going to make it come true. A dream, eh? Yep, although my instructor would always just tell me to stop daydreaming. Embarrassed, you scratch your head. That's something you've always been holding on to, right? That's only because I haven't made it come true, though. Wait, what exactly? A few moments of silence later, Liv's voice goes hurried, and right then a gust of wind disperses all the bubbles. My bad, I actually meant to ask you to keep an eye out for these bubbles when I said watch out back there. Okay. Oops, am I being intrusive? Cinderella asks as she looks at Liv and you. Right, why don't I bring the bubbles back for you guys then? I think we're fine. I just so happen to have some questions for you, actually. Here, I've got some tea for you, so how can I help? Your clothes dry, you're back in the room from earlier. Right. Whatever the cost, you need to make it through all that stands in your way now. We want to go to the spire in the middle of the forest. Then, Cinderella sounds shocked. Looking back and forth between you and Liv, Cinderella finally returns her gaze to you with eyes wide and open mouth. What's the matter? Oh, well, I was just trying to have something work out in my head. See, I thought you came from the spire, but I see that's where you're going now. You're from outside the forest, aren't you? What makes you think so? Because the spire is off limits to everything living in the forest. Some animals wander off into the fire every now and then, and that would be the last anyone that sees of them. Which is why everyone and everything living here knows better than to get close to this fire. Yes, we're indeed from outside the forest, as you said. What's the world like outside the forest, though? Cinderella is dripping with curiosity. Well, Liv seems to be measuring her words. There really is no easy way to tell Cinderella they came from the real world and that she herself is but a projection inside Liv's mind shard. And there's no telling what's going to happen if Liv tells her all that. Must be a heck of a world for you to put in simple words, yeah? Sorry. It's fine. I'm sure it's something you'd rather not tell to keep my sanity. Come on, I can just tell. Your face has said it all. Although I'd really love to get to know your world too. Stroking her teacup, Cinderella quickly regains her smile. So, the spire, right? You were camping out there in the forest last night because you've been traveling through the forest during the day, right? Yes, and there were things that stood in our way. Stammering, Liv is reminded of the line of sheep that ran the length of the horizon. And we have no idea where we are now. Do you happen to know how to get to the spire? Unfortunately, I don't. Well, I guess I should say there doesn't exist a single path that can take you there. Is it because there are places in between you just can't get across? No, it's not that. Here, let me show you something. Cinderella stands up and proceeds to the open window. You'll see why. Beyond the window you see crowns of trees in the forest. Cinderella seems to be living up on a hill. The spire, however, is nowhere to be seen. It's about to start. Following Cinderella's finger, you look outside the window where she's pointing. Are they moving? Slowly but surely the forest is moving in random fashion, and so too is the ground in which they're rooted. I didn't even know this was happening. To those living in the forest, the very ground you stand on isn't what changes, but your location. The location is changing as we speak. Back down, Cinderella says slowly, which is why it's impossible for you to get to this fire. But you are just going to give up, right? It's because you can't. And I don't suppose you're going to tell me why, yeah? Hey, what's with the long face? I'm sure the force brought you both to me for a reason. Who knows, right? Now, since you're trying to get to the spire, let me tell you about how it came about. And what it used to be. Unable to find her way back, she's lost in the sea of trees. Or deep down, maybe she doesn't want to go back. Where am I? Lost and looking around, she can see a tower with a pointed tip standing in the distance on this land she's never set foot on. Upon reaching the tower, she gives a wooden door a gentle knock. I don't recognize you, kid. How can I help you? The door creeps open, but the voice that's speaking to her comes from behind her. Ah, I'm just lost. Who are you? Me? I'm the master of the spire, fairy that can make all dreams come true. Dreams? Yeah, dreams are wonderful, and people can't lavish enough praise on them. Now, let me take you home. Wait. Oh, I see you don't want to go home just yet. The fairy turns around with a gentle look, waits patiently for the girl to say her next word. I want a lot of friends. My sister and brother just wouldn't hang out with me. Can you make that come true? Like a deflating balloon, the little girl quickly loses confidence. She's just worked up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but are you ready to pay for it? But pay? With that? She sounds a little scared. With? When the fairy reaches her hand this way, the girl shines her eyes nervously. The fairy puts her hand on the girl's head, then with a few strokes, the fairy straightens the girl's hair, which was a complete mess from her traveling across the forest. With that, the fairy sounds pleased. Wait, that's it? Without answering the girl's question, the fairy produces a colorful scepter. She gives it a little tap in the air with a mumble. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Whoosh, a flash of light swishes past, but she can't tell if anything is about actually happened. Try clapping 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Are you? Oh dear. Surrounded by a bunch of chipmunks, the girl shrieks in surprise. How do you like these adorable fur balls? Oh right, I wanted to give you something else too. With another tap of the fairy scepter on the ground, the pumpkin carriage grows out of the soil. Take this home so you won't get lost. Becoming friends with the fairy, the little girl keeps making wishes for the fairy to make happen in the forest. Floating jellyfish that drives the darkness away, sheep that you can never finish counting when you can't fall asleep, and peace so big that a single one can make you full. As time goes by, the little girl grows up. Something happens down the road that leaves her with no choice but to leave home. Dot. It's been such a long time. How have you been? Something happened and I have to leave. Fairy slowly opens her mouth to speak. The world out there is one far beyond my reach, and you won't be able to leave with anything from the forest. Are you sure about this? Yes, I am. Looking into the girl's eyes and seeing her determination, the fairy sees that there's no point in trying to make the girl stay. Just remember to drop by sometime. With the heavy locks lifted, the door of the shelter opens up, allowing the girl to exit on her own. With reality standing in her way, she has been looking away and giving up on her dreams only too many times. Because dreams are for the childish and all she can do is still glances at them every now and then. What the girl never knows, though, is that her dreams are all kept safe and sound by the fairy. Until that fateful day, that is. The ground starts spitting out scarlet flames, tearing the world into pieces. Hey, look at you all grown up. She says nostalgically. Sorry. No, don't say that. I'm very happy to see you again. What's your wish this time? The girl says her wish, to which the fairy falls into what seems like an eternity of silence. I guess that means a no. It's a little difficult for me, but are you ready to pay for it? With your freedom, you'd be trapped in a cage where you can't see the light of day. Back to chapter 17. Oh boy. Survivalism. Acoustic version of circling song. The girl nods. You'll have absolutely nothing by your side save for pain. The girl nods. And you'll be eaten away until you're polluted all over and burnt to ashes with the forest. A few moments of silence later, the girl nods as she looks at the fairy's apologetic eyes. What should I do? The girl doesn't change her mind. Her last dream, a pair of wings that can take her through the skies. Wings that are meant to eventually crash and burn. Giving in to the girl's request, Cinderella casts on her an old but still familiar spell. With a shower of green light, the girl transforms into a butterfly with vibrant colors. Her wings are thin and appear almost feeble, but against the evil crimson, they stand strong. Against a sea of corrupted, the white bird flies alongside humanity and guides them forward, and the black butterfly keeps the evil behind the humans where they can't see it. None of the miracles is a coincidence. She put her bargaining chips on the table even before it all began. At last, she falls to the sky along with the red figures and crashes into the spire, which has now become a cage from which they can't escape. Before the door to the spire closes, the fairy asks, "Do you have any other wishes? Live." Oh. No, and thank you for everything, Cinderella. Only with their notable goodbye so imminent now that Cinderella now has what it takes to live farewell. I see. Goodbye then. After that, I let all your dreams out and came up with this forest with them. Cinderella holds up her teacup and patiently waits for you to digest everything you just heard. With everything Cinderella just said, you finally figure out how this mind shard came into being. It's not a piece of item that carries Liv's imagination, nor is it something that holds her memory. Everything you've seen along the way, so out of the realm of reality, it all came with the tinge of the real world. All these are the dreams I used to have. Yes, and everything here came from you. Some of these are wishes you made when you were reading fairy tales, and there is one you made thinking about sheep in the garden that night when everyone was sleeping. And this other one, Apparently, remembering something funny, Cinderella puts on a gentle laugh. You made this other wish when you were scared soulless alone under the blanket. The hope that the monster that eats up kids that don't go to bed would be a little more adorable. You never wanted to see it though, and you wouldn't believe how sad that made it feel. Cinderella returns her gentle gaze to Liv. These are all the dreams you forgot. I remembered everything the moment I saw you. I thought you broke free of your confinement from this fire and were on your way to leave the forest. But now I see that's where you're headed. You're not the caged butterfly, Liv, but the white bird that soars with its wings. I'd very much love to help you however I can, like I did before. But I wanted to hear you out because I'm as much as part of this dream as everything else here. Actually, you outgrew your dreams. Is that what you were going to say? Apparently seeing right through Liv, Cinderella cuts her off, shaking her head as she carries on. But what about the dreams you had? If you've outgrown them, why are you still holding on to those dreams? Do you still think those dreams are only for the childish? Are you still going to give up on them and forget them the same way you did? Is it how you'd like to keep growing as a person? Said in a calm yet firm tone, Cinderella's questions don't sound intimidating in the slightest. They're, if anything, reassuring. Yes, these dreams are childish. I'd even call them far-fetched and unrealistic. Hardly unaware of what she's doing, Liv touches her wings with a faint squeeze. The very wings that, whilst unable to take her through the sky, shine through all the same in the dark. But they're worth pursuing so long as we still long for them. Knowing what you do, are you still going to try to make them come true? That's something I'll work toward. It matters more that a dream is made true than when it's made true. My dreams might be childish, and they were probably just what I came up with on a whim. But I can take my time to make them come true, because they have and always will be a part of me. So you want to take your time, huh? That sounds like an excuse to me, though. Says Cinderella with a smile that's ever so gentle on her face. Liv shakes her head. We're still pursuing them precisely because we haven't made them come true. We're keeping it in the future precisely because we don't want to run away from it anymore or see it as a luxury. People never get lost after seeing mingly far-fetched dreams. Because excuse me. These dreams are like beacons on the shore or the stars in the sky. They guide you along the way. Liv looks at you before she looks firmly in Cinderella's blue eyes. A person can't possibly grow by throwing away what they have or forgetting who they are. Holding on to what you have and never letting go is the only thing that will help you move forward. I see. There's nothing more I need to worry about. Looking away from Liv, Cinderella turns to look at you with her gentle yet shrewd blue eyes. Are you still willing to savor them? That's why I came in the first place. Even if that means putting yourself in harm's way, of course. Even if that means putting yourself in harm's way is something Liv never wants to see. You exchange a look with Liv. There are worries and fears in her eyes, but you see no objection whatsoever. We never want to see each other put in harm's way. And taking the risk ourselves is probably the only choice that will ever make us feel okay. But it's never my job to protect her, or the other way around. We have each other's back, and it's only when we have each other's back that we'll be able to travel far down the path together. Alone we might struggle, but together we are strong. Which is why if one of us ever falls, we should respect their choice all the same and soldier on with their torch in hand. Very well, I'm trusting you with her then. Cinderella steps up and proceeds to open the door. Follow me, I'll show you how to get to the spire. Packed around the edge of the forest is an enormous pumpkin carriage with its decorations, its colored cobwebs dangling off its rusty wheels, bearings broken and its horses gone. It doesn't seem like it still works though. This is what's going to take you to the spire. This pumpkin carriage will take you there even without a route. But it doesn't seem like it's ever going to run again. All you need is a little magic sometimes. The wink, Cinderella looks impish for the first time. She picks up her now dusty scepter from beside the wheel. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. With her spell, a rainbow shrouds the carriage. The crystals and glasses are glistening again, the rust is removed, the cracks are patched, and the silver paintwork is gleaming in the sun. Then you hear a gallop coming from the woods. Sheep. A sheep-drawn carriage. Equally white but fluffy sheep. Oops, I never said this carriage would be drawn by horses, did I? The sheep saddled, the carriage's door opens to reveal its magnificent interior. Cinderella passes her scepter to Liv. Wait, what? She is at the bottom of the spire, and that's where your friend needs to go. You, Liv, need to go to the tip, where the monster is kept locked up. And given that you've run away from it once... Cinderella turns around and looks at you as she speaks in a serious tone. I'm sure he'll do everything in his power to get you. Someone needs to destroy it before it destroys the spire. Which is why, Liv, you need this scepter more than I do. And see, I won't be needing it anymore. Cinderella puts on a sad smile. Thanks again. Cinderella carries on speaking as if she helps Liv inside the carriage. This place is made of dreams and my power doesn't go beyond the forest. Holding out her hand, Cinderella helps get you inside the carriage too. But you now have what it takes to press forward with your dreams and walk out of this shelter. Not to mention that you have someone right next to you who's willing to go through it with you too. Closing the door, Cinderella takes a step back. Bit by bit, Cinderella grows distant as the carriage pulls away. She knows this is her last farewell as the carriage makes its way into the distance. She thought she was ready for this day right when she first saw Liv at the spire. She thought she'd be able to play it cool when the day finally came. She thought she'd feel happy for Liv for not counting on her anymore. And she thought Liv would be able to stay around for just a little longer. I wonder if that's actually supposed to be her mother, her biological mother. Liv. Through the window you can see Cinderella waving at you, and Liv with a pained look on her face. You'll never stop chasing your dream and fear all the good things the world has to offer, just because reality chooses to rough you up. With the sunlight shining through the haze, she bids the fearless fledgling bird with her last word of advice. So long as your memory still exists, so too will the magic with which you can make your dreams come true. Okay. And 3. Can I add anyone else? Nope. So just Liv. Dry moss rolls out over the otherwise stony ground and intrudes parts out of the side to reveal a straight path ahead. As the river stops flowing, the ripples carry the pumpkin carriage ever so gently to the other side of the riverbank. The mountains come together without leaving so much as a crack, and the place now looks like nothing what it was when you just arrived. Chipmunks coming up from nowhere flank the carriage, while the bugs and birds sing together for the procession. You see the long line of sheep at the very end of the horizon, still hopping over the saddle. They don't seem like they want to move out of the way. Oh, you're the bad kids that made it impossible for people to sleep. Popping out from behind the pumpkin carriage, Shark Plushie charges at the sheep. Seeing the Shark Plushie, the sheep lose it and start running all over the place for dear life, clearing the path ahead. Everything in the forest is trying to help in its own way. You arrive at the spire before you know it. Crimson vines stretch the length of the age-worn spire. Standing in the shades of the sun can never reach the spire's redolence of an ominous wooden nail journeying deep into the blood-red ground. When seen from a different angle, however, it seems like the hand of someone that's reaching out from the depths of a mud puddle, yearning for salvation. The dusty door creaks as the Liv and you push it open. In the air, lit up by a faint light that comes through the door, and dust seems to be greeting you as it tries to tell you just how long forgotten this place is. The spiral staircase stretches toward different ends upwards until it seems to become one with the spire itself, and downward until it reaches well into the depths of the darkness. Do everything in a power to stop the monster. Cinderella spoke up from hitting you commanded. Liv turns and says that as she makes her way up the staircase with red thorns all over it. Now we'll go save your trapped dreams. You speak in response to Liv as you take a step forward down the stone staircase that stretches into the darkness underground. You both know excuse me, exactly what you came here to do. Liv makes her way up the stairs, succumbing to the darkness that robs her of her sense of direction, and monotonous footsteps that blur her sense of time. In a trance, she seems to be hear people whispering. It's a conversation that she has with Hippocrates when she wakes up. Professor, I have some questions for you. Yes? It's about the deep mind connection. I just want to know if it ever felt command in a negative way. If you're trying to figure out if it's going to cause a commandant migraines or death migraines, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt that it won't. See, the deep mind connection doesn't distribute your migraines. What it does is stabilizes your mind through the mind beacon's deep connection. Let's say you have a ship floating out at sea. When the ship takes the wind, shakes the winds or waves, you end up with a mess inside, right? But the ship won't shake the winds and waves if you have an anchor. It's true that the deep mind connection won't cause any damage, but I still want you to know that in the process of improving it, we'll need your commandant to dive deep into your mind many times to collect data, during which all the migraines and death migraines experienced will inflict the real damage. Like what happened last time. So, are we going to call it quits? Before it's too late, that is. Press forward all the while, keeping your eyes straight ahead. The air around you grows colder, still the further down you walk, the sunlight out there can never reach this part of the spire. Even with a torchlight in hand, you can still barely see the path as you make your way down the broken stone staircase. Right then you see light coming through a crack in the bricks up ahead. Am I here already? When you go up for a closer look, however, all you see is the faint figure of a person from behind. Move closer. With a closer look, you can now see a very clean person wearing a school uniform, logo of which you can be more familiar with. It's the logo of FOS. With the realization, the light suddenly becomes so intense that it robs you of consciousness. What was it that you were going to do again? Standing in the instructor's office in FOS, you see an old man sitting in front of you with a straight face. I'm not going to stick my nose into your business, but I need to know your reason behind your decision as your instructor. Random. This is about what I'm going to do after graduating. Why did you turn down Command Central's invitation to apply to be your frontline commander in that task force? Should I start at you now? Same as I've been watching every single student since you entered the school. There's neither encouragement nor discontent from his tone, but solidness and gravity. There is no doubt that those eyes will see right through any petty lies and excuses that you come up with, because I want to become part of the hope to pull this world back from the brink of despair. This was your answer then. Back then, a list of big names popped to your mind. You knew those names by heart, but it wasn't so much that you could write their names down on the test because they were people you deeply admired. The words people praised these big names with had such nice rings that back when you still didn't know how the big names got to where they were. Now though the big names, alive and active as they were, are now nothing more than strings of letter inscribed on monuments. Earth is still a mess, and most of the early accomplishments have been destroyed overnight. Can you still confidently say what you did back then? After knowing the truth, that is. Did the commandant know about this? Of course, and the commandant still signed the paper right away. So the construct's mind is the ship as the commandant's mind beacon is the anchor, right? If the anchor can help the ship make it through the storm, so too can the ship sail forth with the anchor. The commandant said that risk of the surge should never bog us down. We didn't come to that so we can huddle up in fear, but so we can go even further. I'm happy to have someone by my side who's willing to help me unconditionally. Looking up, Liv has now a much clearer view of what's in front of her. Scarlet crystal clusters, crimson tidewater, and blood red soil, all of which come together to fill the air with tension. It had only just now that she'd arrived, where she set out to come, the crimson plants lying quietly in hunger behind her. Set up another full auto. Not so far away, a blood-red figure stands surrounded by monsters that seem to have made their way out of someone's worst nightmares. Why? Because I want to become part of the hope so I can pull this world back from the brink of despair. Saying nothing to anyone, man. You seem to be waiting for you to explain yourself. Understand that none of the miracles happened as easily as they seemed to. Every step along the way was a trial and error in the dark. A single wrong step set some of them down the abyss from which they never returned, leaving their successors with nothing but the knowledge that they didn't work. And they even fought sometimes and went separate ways. But even then, the wise strained their wisdom down to the very last shred of their beings. Some of them even ended up having their souls and dignity burned out in assiduous work day and night. To fight for a place to persist in a place that was anything but favorable, the brave soldiered on in the face of failure. To build a line of defense with their very own blood and flesh. All these flash past you like a stream. These people who are just like you, are the reason you can speak out as unwaveringly as you do now. If anything, reality has made your dreams stronger and more lucid than ever. Are you trying to say you're one of the brave? I hope you're aware that this is no place for you to discuss a bedtime story. Has it ever crossed your mind that your potential might have an easier time shining through if you work in a different position? The instructors, I believe, are the ones that made me believe I'm one of those brave. Graduating summa cum laude makes it easier for me to make it straight to the field of command, but FOS was established in the first place to train commandants. We came up with this choice for you precisely because we recognize your commanding talent. Most of you sitting here today will eventually be mere numbers on battle reports down the road. And if you don't experience what they do, you'll never be able to understand the meaning of numbers hold. And we didn't come together to make everyone suffer for the mistakes we make as a group. This is what you said on day 1, instructor. I've been keeping these words close to my heart. Do you know the average life expectancy of a commandant? I'll keep rolling until I get my pension. You need to understand that there is no going back. I think I can tell you very clearly now that I have never regretted choosing this path. You can show yourself the door now. His tone is as rock hard as ever. Old but powerful pair of hands gives you a light push from behind. You've reached the end of the road. Right behind you, debris falling off the broken staircase, finally making the sound of landing on the ground after what seems like an eternity. Through the crack in the bricks you seem to see her. Liv, I promise to save you. Because I promise to keep Commandant safe. And here I am making my promise count. And here I am making my promise count. Okay, battle time.
最悪はすべて私と共に虚空に返します。純粋な炎に救いをもたらします。耐えられます。
Okay, boss time. Oop, trapped. Ow. Ow. Capture the pen here in the mind. All pieces of heart deep in the mind. Dreams of your have you made care anymore? Oh, well, it's already in the scene anyways.
指挥官，原来已经成功了，欢迎回来。
The end live.
我会彻底
Also very
终
adorable.
结这场苦難はここで燃やし尽くします。希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。願いは彼方へと飛び続けます。
Okay, not too bad. Very adorable. It's been so long since anyone set foot in the cell down at the bottom, inspired that even dust in the air have grown stagnant. Closing her eyes, the Shadow Soul sits quietly in the ruins. With her wings torn into pieces, she's no longer able to fly. Everything about her in the place is stagnant, so much so that even her heartbeat is barely palpable. She was left alone in the corner of memory and seemed destined to remain so for the rest of eternity. Things, however, seem a little different today. In her head, she doesn't see the same endless nightmares anymore, but a young student speaking with an old instructor. What are they talking about, and why does she find it all strangely familiar? Slowly, she's drawn toward it, ever so slowly, all the while taking care not to destroy the square side of an illusion. With a pair of determined and sincere eyes, the young student stands unfazed. Second. Walk. That alone is already enough to make her feel safe. Bang, bang, bang. That doesn't sound like a heartbeat. With the bangs, the illusion vanishes. Someone is trying to break this cage from the outside, sending a rainfall of dust down from the rotten bricks up above. Bang. He commanded the hand, and the bricks that are broken. Through the hole comes a hand with fresh scars. So cute. There's no way the light of day can ever make it down to this part of the spire, and the torch in the hand has stopped working. Even so, the two of them can still see each other clearly. Hey, Live 2D too. With their similar lights that shine through their souls and even outshine the dark of night. Excuse me. Excuse me. Give me a moment. I'm gonna be right back. Sorry about that. I let the snot build up a little too much. So. Excuse me. Bothering me a little bit. Sometimes the heart needs no language to communicate. As her hands touch the cold soul disappears in the blink of an eye, she's deep in a warm embrace. Everything around her seems to be crumbling, and with it, she feels as though she's falling down at the same time she's floating up through the air. The nightmare is over. Falling no more, you now feel what feels like the world's softest mattress against your back. You thought it was the safety trigger that pulled you out of the forest into the mine diving chamber in the lab. A foul aroma lingering by, however, seems to be telling you that you could be wrong. You open your eyes and slowly rise to your feet, all the while unable to look away from the petals in the wind that guide your attention in a certain direction. Standing next to you, a dark green figure looks at you gently. Did you get rid of the contamination too? Yes, thank you, Commandant. Why didn't you wake me up? This place is safe and I figured you needed some rest. And, putting her hand on her chest, Liz seems to be listening to what her heart wills. She doesn't finish her sentence, but the dancing petals all around her seem to betray her mind. And finally deciding that she's going to shun no more, she looks up and sees straight into your eyes. The flowers, the trees, and the sun, all these are beautiful and put my mind at ease. Yes, I know that. None of these is going to last forever, and will probably wake us up in no time. True. But I really just... With a wishful smile on her face, her voice cracks a little. I really just want to be here with you for just a little longer, Commandant. So I won't have to see you keep fighting and end up hurting yourself all over. I don't want to say goodbye to you again. I feel safe feeling your warmth and heartbeat. Liv. I know this is an illusion, and... Oh, that's another nice CG. Very cute. Very, very cute. I also know that this is the kind of future I'll always be pursuing going forward. Liv bears her soul and pours her heart out. You, however, can't tell if it's the doing of the mind shard or if she's only finding it easier to do so since you're in her subconscious mind. With the petals swirling up to the breeze, the girl raises a question. So, how do you like the views here, Commandant? Very much. Hearing your words and bringing into a smile, she carries on. Care to elaborate? I like how quiet it is here. Cozy sunlight filters through the swaying treetops and shines upon the dancing dust. The grass under your feet the grass under you feels ever so soft as it lifts you up to preserve the tranquility in the air. Save for the birds' cries that travel far and wide, there is not a single sound here. This place is exactly as Lip said, without gunshots or exploding alarms. This place is so quiet that you can hear her heartbeats and breath. The breeze that comes by every now and then are messengers with messages from afar. I can totally picture myself living here when I retire. You say as you give Liv a positive nod. Little did you know, however, that Liv would take your joke so seriously. If that's what you're thinking, you could probably build a cottage where there isn't anything around. You have all these trees here at your disposal, but you'd still need to be careful so the wood wouldn't go bad. And you would of course need some electric generators here to make life easier. Liv? Seeing her all excited about coming up with plans for your retirement, you aren't quite sure if you want to cut her off. And before you know it, Liv seems to have already finished planning your living room. What would you like to have as a pet, Commandant? Well, the question hits you as baffling. Liv seems to have a difficult time making up her mind. Sheep are good, but chipmunks seem like a good choice too. Oh, I want to have some butterflies in the garden too, if that's okay. She's just making decisions herself. Cute. I'd love to go for a walk in the dark sunset with you, Lucia, and me. Just the four of us. The setting sun and all the butterflies around us. Wow, I see you're way ahead of the game. In your mouth, you want to cut them off, but you decide to hold them back, seeing her as happy as she is. You see no reason to cut off her dream when she's still moving forward. And I want to try growing some veggies too. You aren't just going to grow everything yourself, are you? Half giving up, you decide to hop in. While the clock is fast ticking away on the sea of flowers, you know that the future you all dream of is quickly coming your way too. Yep, I'm back in reality. See the white light in the lab. When you open your eyes, it's a sign that you're back in reality. Commandant. Turning your head, you see Liv just a few meters away, who seems to have come just a few moments before you. Kane is back. No signs of contamination. We're fixing mine and analyzing the interactive data over there. Here. Are the data looking valid? Is the data looking valid, rather? Working on that now. Asimov's hand swished a millisecond over the device before him as he speaks, sending all sorts of charts and codes flying across the screen. You can see a progress bar making progress on the screen while strings of data are collected. Multiple analysis reports pop out. When the progress bar finally reaches the end, a window pops out. Ignoring the overly lengthy report itself, you turn your eyes straight at the short line at the very bottom. And that's done for today. Oh, already halfway through 11. Whew. I guess I might be ending earlier than I think. Matching expectation. The validity of the data went beyond our expectations. We can go ahead and get ready for the trial coming up next. Which means that until we're done improving the mind connection, you'll need to go through one simulation after another. And no, you won't be allowed to leave Babylonia no matter what. Hippocrates shoots both of you and they have a threatening look when she finishes speaking. Got it? Of course. Of course. You'll be able to move around normally after this, but remember to come back for the regular checkups. Right then, as your terminal buzzes, Lucia's calling. She seems to be calling a little earlier today than usual. Is it Lucia? Yep. Professor. It's all good. Both of you can leave now. We'll be back, able to see Lucia in person when this is over, right? Yeah, I'm sure that day is coming soon. Dreams could be a heavy burden when you face reality. Stand up. You can feel something soft and gentle against you. Let's go, Commandant. Alright. But don't ever fear all the good things the world has to offer and throw your dreams away. As long as the light in your soul still shines through, you're bound to attract your kind through the long night. Because when you no longer have to trek through the night alone, dreams will no longer be a heavy burden, but wings of hope. And that's it. That's fun. That's very cute. Adorable. Okay. Let's do... So now we just have Cursed Wave. Fun. The intro takes metal and salt spreads in your mouth as booming to the sun. Sun's wave crashing under the sun turn. Grab a hold of yourself and reorient consciousness from the stimuli of unknown origins. And then you suddenly see a small spot of light against amidst the eternal darkness. Like a moth to a flame, you desperately want to approach that ethereal light. Driven by your desire to go forward, your legs are formed. Motivated to touch the light, your hands are also formed. The closer you are to the light, the more complete yourself is. The closer you are to the light, the louder the sound of the tide. Right as your finger touches the light, a violent quake reverberates through the air as if a dying star collapsing on itself. Suddenly, light fills your vision, but right after that, the world returns to silent darkness. Open your eyes. Wake up in a cold sweat as if the nightmare still has a hold on you. Clutching your pounding heart, you open your eyes to observe your surroundings. You're in a room that you can only describe as dilapidated. An old wooden bed, cracked and moldy walls and the ceiling covered in webs form the room. The smell of decay fills the air, offering a hint of how old this abandoned structure is. Strange, this is not just the environment, you are a stranger to yourself as well. Why you are here, why you woke up here, where you came from and where you're going. Your mind goes blank, you cannot recall anything. Regardless, get moving first. You hear a voice in your head. Following its call, you get off the bed. You can see a courtyard surrounded by broken fences through the window. Beyond that is a dense forest. You seem to be in the countryside near a town. You can also hear the faint clashes of the waves hitting the shore. You might be in a coastal area. Step out of the room and walk downstairs. Your movement breaks the long-held silence of this decrepit estate. The sunlight illuminates the dust in the air and the gaps through of the thick musky curtains. With an extended creak, the battered front doors open once again. Weeds fill the unmaintained garden between you and the rusty iron gate to the forest path outside. The world immediately becomes larger, but that only makes you feel smaller. Is there anyone? Before you finish speaking in your raspy voice, you seem to have caught something in the corners of your eyes. There appears to be a small cemetery near by the courtyard. Oh, who are you? A hooded girl kneels before a gravestone. Her head lowered and her palms crossed together, she seems to be mourning the dead buried here. Even when you approach her, she does not move for a few minutes. What are you doing here? Overwhelmed by your confusion, you cannot help but ask her. Hearing you, the girl slowly stands up. She turns around to face you as she opens her eyes. It was nothing. I was simply saying goodbye. And even though you took longer than expected, I've been waiting for you to wake up. And why are you waiting for me? Because only you can stop the sound of the tide and end the eternal cycle. I should introduce myself. My name is Cradle. You can consider me your servant, your companion, anything you like. My duty is to guide you. You are now on the path of the Curse Queller, which is why you woke up in a blank slate. Your erased self will only be returned once the sound of the tide stops. Girl named Cradle explains to you after you have forgotten everything. Regrettably, you do not understand anything she just said. The amount of information tends to suffocate you. Luckily, now you have something to ponder over. Your body functions automatically out of forgotten habits before you realize it, processing Cradle's words over and over again, trying to deduce their meaning. What's the sound of the tide? It is the calamity that threatens to purge the world. It is the tragedy that never ends. You can hear it, can't you? The surging waves that are echoing in your ears, thumping and wailing. Indeed, you've been hearing the sound of the tide from afar since you woke up. But what does that have to do with the calamity? You don't seem to comprehend fully. But that's okay, it's easier to show than tell you. It's almost time, anyway. It's almost time. You start to feel uneasy. Hush. She raises her index finger and holds it by her lips. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? An approaching tidal wave. Chilling the sound of the tide. The sky darkens in an instant. Dark clouds approach from the horizon, covering the bright sky in shadows. That is, only after you observe carefully do you realize that those are not storm clouds that are approaching. That is a tidal wave that is large enough to cover the sky. You cannot move as if your feet were nailed to the ground. There is no reason to run. There is no way you can outrun it. Several breaths later, the tide is already visible to you. The tide that will devour all. Nothing can survive its wrath. We're out of luck this time. But that's alright. There's always next time. Next time. The thunderous tide gets closer and closer, almost deafening you. I'll see you soon then. The girl smiles as she says it, and she closes her eyes before you're both taken by the world-ending tide. Open your eyes. You wake up in a cold sweat as if the nightmare still has a hold on you. Clutching your batting heart, you open your eyes to observe your surroundings. Okay, same as before. Realizing something, you rush out to the crumbled house. Unsurprisingly, you run into the hooded girl in the cemetery again. We meet again. My time was brief, but you must have remembered my name, right? Is this the cycle you were talking about? That's right, the great tide surges from the depths of the ocean after a set period of time, devouring all. Afterward, it's reset to how it was in the beginning. People forget what they have experienced, and they forget the calamity that is coming. Time has therefore stopped. Tomorrow doesn't arrive for anyone. But neither of us have forgotten the tide. Hence why we need people like you to stop it. What is happening to this world? This world was destroyed once. After the Age of Mist, the surviving humans began to rebuild their civilizations on top of the ruins of the war. But the wisdom of the ancients became undecipherable mysteries. People have started from nothing, slowly repeating what had happened. Somewhere along the way, the sound of the tide began to appear. Destroyed the world over and over again, as if trying to keep humanity's future locked away. That is the state of the world now, but I don't think I have all the answers. I have no knowledge of your past or where the sound of the tide came from. I was assigned a duty, and I'm simply doing what I've been tasked to do. So stopping the sound of the tide is my duty. Quick learner. No one knows why the world is the way it is. In my opinion, however, let's figure out how before the why. The calamity is right before us. If we don't want the same tragedy to repeat, we must take action right now. Do not know the true nature of the sound of the title, why you have been given this duty, but you must take action first, as Cradle said. Moment. In that case, allow me to accompany you if you don't have a concrete plan yet. There's a small town by the shore nearby. You can familiarize your whereabouts there. You can act after you make up your mind. There's no rush. You don't seem to have a choice anyway. I'm sorry, but I can promise you something. Even in this world with very few guarantees, no matter how your journey ends, I'll be there with you until the very last moment. Okay. Welcome, Outlander. Without further ado, let our journey begin. Choose wisely the adventure difficulty according to your current abilities. The higher difficulty, the better rewards. Yep. Let's get started with the easiest one. Here we go. Rising Tide. First off, we're going to set up our survey team. This will definitely help us in our journey. Tide Seeker. Cautious, stay stable. 30 seconds longer. Okay, so let's invite some friends. Invitation of Lightning. Fire, Ice. Now we can begin recruitment. Yep, refreshes. Use a companion. Okay. Same stuff as the Skull Archives. Vera. As well grab. Guess we only have one of the group. Fortune, Ben important. That's fine. In here. Okay, adventure progress. No. Confirm.
私が隊長？私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。私の邪魔をするなんて、ずいぶんいい度胸をしてるわね。勝利しても私には絶対服従よ。そうよね。
And nest.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。私の邪魔をするなんて、ずいぶんいい度胸をしてるわね。もっと来てよ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。私の邪魔をするなんて、ずいぶんいい度胸をしてるわね。全てを粉々に潰すのは最勝利しても私には絶対
we get to use our characters with their full abilities from the start. Keys. Card. Roberta Manor. Her bedroom. And next bench. Keys. Shakespeare sale. Okay, so cookies are used in the shop here. Resurrections. Healing. Aid. Probably, yeah. Trade. Continue. Okay, coastal town.
Watashi ni tsuite kite. Osoreru koto wa nai wa. Watashi no jamaをするなんて。すべてを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。すべてを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。あがいてみせて。私がいる場所が戦場よ。勝利しても私には絶対服従よ。そうよね。
Box. Sure. Magic blood. Time to go. Okay, so rare artifact box. Mm.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。すべてを粉々に潰すのはあがいてみせる。私についてくれ。情けないな。楽しみに来るかしら。私について。私がいる場所が戦場よ。勝利しても私には絶対服従よ。そうよね。
Okay. And check spells. Speed. Gift. Okay, small gift for you. As a burden that may help you on a journey. Okay. Gift. Okay. Artifact box. Thank you, Cradle. Boop. Boop.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。あがいてみせて。すべてを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。私の邪魔。私がいる場所が戦場よ。 私についてくれ。情けないな。さあ、私たちの
Zoom, zoom.
全ての障害を
100% near speed, that's fun though. I'll grab that. Pula or jump. Tempest, I guess. Okay, Fortress Atlantis. Thing buffs are probably generally more important.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。あがいてみせて、コミクス。全てを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。誰でもいい。かかってください。私たちのいつ全ての障害を取り除く。
Healing 50, HP 10. Station of Fire. Ice.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。あがいてみて。もっと来てよ。全てを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。私進行すると誰でもいいからかかって。情けないね。楽しんでくれてくれ。私について貫け。障害の槍。私たちの必全ての障害を取り除く。
Camu Bianca Palefire. Okay. Oh, rare artifact box. That. Ooh, imitation of ice.
私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。私のもっと来てよ。できると思っている。誰でもいい。情けないね。楽しんでくるとする。できるとでも思っている。私についてきて。恐れることはない。全てを粉々に潰すのは最高だわ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。勝利しても私には絶対服従よ。そうよね。
Boom. This was
私についてきて。恐れることはない。すべてを。私の邪魔をするなんて。私がいる場所の戦場よ。進行するための槍。私について。大きな首なら楽しんでくるとするわ。くらいの痛みだ。もうできる貫く兄弟の槍。情けないよ。楽しんでくるとする。私たちの傷すべての障害を取り除く。
Lightning. Okay. Lamia. Riddance. Punched. Oh. Lamia time. Full auto.
Mina, 勝利を。私についてきて。恐れることはないわ。あがいてみせて。私がいる場所の戦場よ。進行と誰でもいい。切り裂きます。誰でもいい。かかってくる。私は指揮官の翼です。指示お願いします。退けなさい。この一撃で辛くなる。私の刃になってください。切り開きます。私がいる場所の戦場よ。私進行するための役をできると。情けないよ。貫く兄弟の槍。私は指揮官の翼です。指示をお願いします。沈め。海の底に。
Is this gonna be the full fight? Going into phase 2?
これが最後の戦いだといいですね。
I guess not.
指揮官。
Legendary artifact box. Cooldown, max signature energy. E. Flash. Slowly, last trace of Guardian fades as entrance to the ocean depths. Closer, enter the tunnel. Off any second thoughts and enter the underwater tunnel with Cradle. No Dirty, Chapter 4, Tunnel. Fire.
恐れることはない。すべてを粉々に。私がいる場所が戦場よ。私がいる場所が戦場よ。私の邪魔をするな。あがいてみせて。私がいる場所が戦場よ。勝利しても私には絶対服従よ。そうよね。
Level 2. Take. Here, Shire. Yep.
商売み。わかりました。もう誰も死なせたりはしません。最悪はすべて私と共に国運に返します。純粋な骨に救いをもたらします。切り開きます。邪魔希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。どうか安らか
Wow, Liv just
に
used
苦痛と
everything
いう牢獄は解かれたのです。
very quickly too. Grab Luna. Who survived? I don't have any biometric blood. I got a little glade. Still haven't found Chrome.
最悪はすべて私と共に国運に返します。耐えられます。邪魔だ。希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。私の立ち位置切り開きます。やー、どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せ。大したことねえ。別に褒められるようなことじゃ。
Okay, take that. Nice. No Chrome. Hey, Kaguma. take luminance. A deep sea. Crimson Saint. Rare artifact box. And also plug in Luna.
戦場に何があるかは
Alright.
最悪は全て私と共に虚空に返します。苦難はここで燃やし尽くします。私の希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。私に任せてください。おい、気をつけろ。どこ見てんだよ。全部消
It
え
looks
て。
like it's done.
私に任せてください。どこ見てんだよ。全部消えて。大したことねえ。別に褒められるようなことじゃ。
Doink. Starry sky. Ina. Calling.
Okay. 最悪はすべて
Okay.
私と共に虚空に返します。私の死滅びる。どけ。希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。私に任せてください。そーら。大したことねえ。別に褒められるようなことじゃ。え
Cursed Waves. Endgame. We have arrived at the bottom of the deep ocean, the origin of the world, spot of the eerie light shines bright. You know all too well that this is the source of all evils of the world and the instigator of the sound outside. The guide, Cradle. Lights and shadows got in the moon. Cycle Doom is about its sun. Touch it for our duty ends here. Follow Cradle's instructions. Do as Cradle says and touch the bottle. It's clear that this will be your last battle.
最悪はすべて私と共に虚空に返します。
Siren. Tide, take me home. I wanna go back.
苦難はここで燃やし尽くします。私希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。私に任せてください。 生まれ変わりましょう。私に任せてください。そう、ここに降臨する。苦難はここで燃やし尽くします。希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。私に任せてください。そうはあ、どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。戦列生まれ変わりましょう。これが全てに終了する。どけ邪魔だ。ソーバスがここに降臨する。どけ邪魔だ。私の指揮棒が怪人から生まれ変わります。私に任せてください。どこ見てんだよ。全部消え失せろ。戦列か滅びる。与えたのこれで全てにしろ。私に任せてください。ソーバスがここに降臨する。これが昇格ネットワークの力。
Easy peasy.
分かった。
Easy squeezy. Your memories start from the moment you were washed ashore. You do not remember anything before that, and you do not know how you got here. Few scavengers found you by the coast and saved you, and you have lived here ever since. The old mechanic in the town needs an apprentice, and you are Yara's choice. It's not a particularly difficult craft, but it does not take you long before you start fixing up some simple things by yourself. Days begin to pass quickly once you no longer have to worry about making a living, and you spend less and less time worrying about your past. Why did the sea take you here? The answer to that question becomes less important once you're used to the sea breeze and the pace of the small town. Thinking how before the why. Someone seemed to have said something similar to you once. You no longer remember who that person was, but you find those words valuable still. Final full auto. Today's order is up the shutter to the workshop and take a notebook by the sign. And the townsfolk require a mechanic. They write down their request to your mentor and you sort out the next day. They're yours today. I'll stay and watch the shop. Got it. Prepare your tools and leave the workshop. Your first destination is a courtyard in the countryside. The place is said to be abandoned for a long time. Rich family recently bought the land, and they made a huge deal about fixing up the estate. You spot a pointy tower over the estate on the other end of the forest, about 10 minutes to the walk before it is a large courtyard. Sitting in front of the fence, you are about to call for someone to open the gate, but before you know someone from the corner of your eye. There's a small old cemetery by the courtyard. The rich family has a long argument over the mail about tearing down the unsightly place. A hard-headed girl is kneeling before a gravestone, her head lowered and her palms clasped as if she is praying. The family will certainly kick her out if they discover what she is doing. What are you doing here? Before you realize it, you have already approached the girl and asked her your question. Most of the people buried here were dead for centuries. You cannot imagine a girl this young would be here for any of them. Ah, nothing. Hearing you, the girl slowly stands up and turns around to face you, smiling. The people living here see you. That's okay, my task here is complete. She interrupts you as if she knows what is about to come. I was simply saying goodbye. By the way, are you happy with your time here? 50-50. Is that so? You're not sure why she asked. That said, you're getting saved by the townsfolk caused quite a stir back then. She must have recognized you from that. That also explains why you do not remember her. It's my time to go then. Until we meet again. Again? You want to bid her farewell, but a strange feeling suddenly overwhelms you. Have I seen her before? You watch silently as the girl walks away farther and farther until she disappears from your sight. Never mind. You must be imagining things. Farewell. The girl bids you farewell in a world without the sound of the tide. Okay. 517. Okay. Okay, mission rewards here. Okay, progress. Artifacts, I see. Okay, leaf labor chips. Voucher. And 20. I think this goes up to 60. 60 is a cap here. So that's 12. 1500. Gallery. Okay, lost Apocrypha. That's attack. These. That's okay, so I gotta do phase by goes. Guess this is just like buffs that you could get or whatever. Okay, and fan fiction. 50. Cyclone. So almost 1/6 of the way, surprisingly. 15 to... There's an extra 1,000 though. So then I'm guessing I'm probably gonna be unable to get Bianca. That's unfortunate. Oh well, I'll get her on a rerun then. So in that case, instead of doing an all-day stream tomorrow, like originally I was planning to do, I'll just do a normal stream. Hopefully this time I'll be able to start at 6, like I should be. But I'm tired, and I wanna get to bed. And my nose obviously is still not doing great. So thanks for everyone that came by, and I'm gonna end the stream there. Have a good one. Bye.